Time for the Robin Thicke and Jessie J of Radio 1. Hello, Dan and Phil.
Hello, Jamila.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good, thanks.
I'm excited. We've got Chris Martin on the show tonight.
Of course you do.
Well, I've printed out a photo of his face, and I've been stroking it gently, but we're going to be using it in a Dan versus Phil challenge.
Amazing. You never cease to amaze me with your creepiness, Phil.
Thanks,
That's
Jamila.
incredible. Sitting there stroking Chris Martin's face, you big weirdo. So what's going on the show today, other than him?
Yeah, other than stroking a giant picture of Chris Martin's face. Well, we're going to be talking about a broken dog and finger tourism in internet news. Oh, yeah. Good stories there in internet news this week.
And also we've got some brilliant music videos to play out, and you can get in touch with us as well.
Yeah.
How?
You can call us on 03700 100 100, text us on 81199, or go on the internet where you can watch us as well, and leave a request on the Radio 1 Facebook page or on the Radio 1 Twitter at BBCR1.
Boom. You nailed all of it. So have you got the album chart with you?
It's right here.
We remembered it. We have it.
BBC Radio 1.
The home of the official album chart.
It is 5.
It is a new entry at 5. It is Iggy Azalea with the new classic. This is the long-awaited debut album from 23-year-old Australian rapper Iggy Azalea, and it is the highest new entry in this weekend's albums chart.
4.
Down one is Paloma Faith with A Perfect Contradiction. It's the follow-up to 2012's Fall to Grace, which reached number 2 on the UK albums chart and has since been certified as double platinum in the UK. The first single from that album, Picking Up the Pieces, gave Paloma her first top 10 and is her highest charting single to date. Also, I asked Paloma what she would name her own planet, and she said, a Malpathon.
Sure.
Down one, it is The Vamps with Meet the Vamps. Holding strong for a second week in the top 5, it is The Vamps with their debut album, which gave the guys 3 top 3 singles in Can We Dance, Wild Heart and Last Night. If you're a big fan of The Vamps, then if you go to Radio 1's YouTube channel, you can see CBBC's Kel Spellman going backstage at their first ever headlining gig. Quifftacular.
Up 2 is John Legend with Love in the Future. Love in the Future is the 4th studio album by John Legend and spawned current single All of Me, which is now the biggest single of John Legend's career, peaking at number 2 in the UK singles chart. Woo. Like me, he's also close friends with Kanye West and has been tipped to be performing at Kanye's upcoming wedding to Kim Kardashian.
And a non-mover at number 1 in the album chart, it is Paolo Nutini with Caustic Love. Topping the chart for a second week, it is Paolo with his 3rd album, which became the fastest-selling artist album of the whole of 2014 so far when it went to number 1 last week. If you're a big fan of Paolo, then do remember that he is playing at Radio 1's big weekend in Glasgow.
All right, guys, well, I'll leave you alone to hang out and spend some quality time with Chris, shall I?
Thanks, Jamila.
Brilliant. Have a great time.
Ciao.
Bye. Okay, so next up...
Muse, Feeling Good, and before that Nina Nesbitt, and you're now listening to and watching Dan and Phil.
BBC
Radio
1.
Yo, everybody! Dan and Phil here on Radio 1 for the next couple hours, putting you guys in control. During this show, it is up to you guys to request the songs that we play. We will be taking your calls. We will be stalking you on the internet and reading out what you type. So don't just sit there. Make sure you get involved with what is going on. Phil, what are the various ways that people can do that?
You can tweet us at BBCR1, leave a request on the Radio 1 Facebook page, text us with your fingers on 81199, or speak to us using your beautiful voice on 03700 100 100.
But remember, if you go to bbc.co.uk/Radio 1 right now on anything with an internet connection, even your mobile phone, you can watch the whole show where you get to see us guys in the studio. Internet news in 15 minutes, including a broken dog and finger tourism. Look forward to finding out what that is. Dan vs. Phil at 8, which this week includes Chris Martin. But remember, most importantly, the music videos that have been made and sent in by you guys, as we get people to send in homemade videos, which we then play as songs. Phil, what is next?
Our first one comes from Balua and her mates, who've made a music video featuring what looks like a mixture of FBI car chases and hippie limbo.
Right.
You can enjoy that on the website now, but for anyone listening, here is Owl City with I'm Coming After You. Owl City, I'm coming after you.
It did sound a bit creepy towards the end there, didn't it?
A little
It's
bit.
like, no, I'm coming after you. I'm going to say it 13 times.
BBC Radio 1.
So, Phil, how are you? How was your week? What did you get up to?
It's been good. I saw my old school friend, and he put me to
Okay.
shame by doing his party trick, which is walking on his hands across the lounge.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate people that are like that. Oh, look
I
at me,
know.
my upper body strength. No, I can walk upside down. No,
I-
sit down.
I can't even pick up a TV remote without a muscle exploding, so I was very jealous. Anyway, I thought this would be a sign to
Okay.
get a bit fitter, so I thought I'd do some online yoga.
Some Online yoga?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, basically, you watch a really bendy lady on the internet, and
So
she tells you to do
as
things.
opposed to going to a class to try it for the first time, you thought
Yes.
that you'd just load up a YouTube video and try it yourself. Okay, how did that work out?
I think that the one I was on was pretty advanced because she was like going to Warrior 1 and then into Downward Dog and relax your anus.
That sounds a bit invasive.
Yeah, it was a little bit. So I tried a few of the moves and ended up kicking some Ribena off the side of the sofa.
Oh, didn't go very well, did
No,
it not?
did not
Okay.
go well
Did
at
you
all.
manage to do any of the moves whatsoever?
Maybe the Downward Dog.
I don't know what that is.
Kind of just like get down on your knees and then raise your head into the sky.
I wouldn't make you do an example of that. You might really injure yourself horribly.
Maybe. I reckon I would go to an actual yoga class though.
Would
Just-
you?
Yeah.
What, your experience made you want to do it more?
Maybe.
Okay.
I want to be a bit more bendy.
Why do you want to be more bendy, Phil?
Just to...
Okay, so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight.
What, yoga?
Not yoga.
Oh, okay.
What is something new that you have tried for the first time?
Trying something new, okay.
Did it change your life? Was it a horrible experience? Let us know with hashtag tried something new.
Good, okay. Hashtag tried something new. What is something new that you've tried? Why? And was it good? Or did it go horribly wrong? That sounds good. So text us, 81199, tweet us with that hashtag tried something new, or call us on 037 100 100, and we will read some of those out after this.
It is Fall Out Boy, The Phoenix, requested by Cara on Twitter.
The Phoenix, Fallout Boy. So, from zombie-eating flesh drama to what did you try new that may or may not have worked out? So, Phil tried yoga, and you were actually inspired to continue it, even though you kind of crippled most of your muscles trying to do it at home.
It's a positive story.
Would you say that yoga is one of those things that you should definitely not try unless you're in the company of a professional?
I think you need to start out slow and not go straight to the downward dog, anus, relaxing stuff.
Don't relax your anus unless a professional is there to make sure you do it right, okay?
We've had some texts, which has made me feel a bit better.
Okay.
Ellie said, my dad made me try a celery in a French restaurant and I threw up on the waiter and he didn't speak any English and it was super awkward. I think no matter what the nationality, it's going to be super awkward if you throw up on a waiter.
I mean, the fact that he couldn't speak English maybe helped with that, because would you want to know what he was saying after you threw up little chunks of celery?
No. Also food related. Rosie said, my dad gave me beef to try.
Okay.
And then I finished eating it and he decided to tell me it was deer and I started crying.
I ate Bambi! Dad, why? That's really, like, trust-destroying, isn't it?
Just a little bit.
Okay, we've got a tweet here from Leah, who said, I decided to dye my hair purple and let my mum do it. The colour barely showed up and it made my hair look mouldy. Don't let your mum do something. And then we got one here from Emily who says, I tried revising. There we go. Fantastic.
That was just it.
I think that sums up most of our lives completely, doesn't it? That's good. Okay, if you have any more stories of things that you have tried, then tweet them with hashtag tried something new. I like this, Phil. It's a good idea.
Thanks.
But now thanks to Jonna, whose video expresses the joy of life through Twitter and pictures of me and Phil and the Hunger Games. Here's Union J. Union J, Beautiful Life. Thank you, Jonna, for that video.
Dan and Phil on BBC Radio 1.
Hello, Mina. I hear you've tried something new.
Yes, I have, thank you.
What would that be?
I've shaved both sides of my head extremely short.
Whoa.
Cool.
Brave. I was going to ask, would you ever go full-on Britney Spears and shave the whole thing?
I wouldn't really, but if I had to, I would.
You would if I gave you £100.
You would if you were Britney Spears. I like that you said, you could have said, like Jessie J, who looks beautiful, but you went for, like, break down Britney Spears as your reference for a woman with a...
So is it kind of like a mohawk now?
I think it's, like, a nice idea, but I wouldn't shave all of my head off.
Okay.
Oh, really? Do you spike up your hair?
Pardon?
Do you spike it up as well?
Oh, yeah, of course.
How solid is it? Like, can you like pick up your clothes off the floor? Like, if you're like, oh, my bra's over there, can you just like lean your head over and then kind of like flick it up and catch it?
Yeah, I can play piano with my hair.
That is amazing.
I would love to have a video of you playing piano with your hair. I would give
That would
you
be pretty amazing.
7 dairy milks if you send that in to us. Wow. Okay, that was brave though, shaving your head. Do you reckon I'd suit a mohawk, Mina?
Surprisingly, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice, because I never knew if I was a tattoo person, but maybe I need to get the mohawk first.
And then
Just
it will
start the
come
whole thing off.
naturally. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
you should, like, draw on your arms to see what it would look like.
I will do. Well, thank you for that advice. You've earned yourself a request. What would you like to listen to tonight?
Could I please have Alex Clare Too Close, as me and my band are going to be performing that song next Sunday?
Amazing. Yeah, of course you can. Do you want to dedicate this to your band?
I'd like to dedicate to my band, Helena, Cara, Kyla, Nina, Desiree, Zora, Ruby, and all my fans on Twitter and WhatsApp.
Wow. It's like Arcade Fire, that band. Here's Alex Clare. Thank you.
Bye.
Alex Clare, too close for Mina and her fantastic mohawk.
Get to bbc.co.uk/Radio 1 now to watch the Dan and Phil show on Radio 1.
So you may be up to date with the latest in football and politics, but what's happened in the world of pets? Thankfully, we're here to bring you the stories you care about, as this is the Internet News.
This is the Internet News.
Internet News. Now, we all know that most dogs get very excited when they spot a squirrel, but one dog in particular has become an internet sensation because he seems to lose all control. Rocco the Singer Spaniel gets so excited, it sounds like the dog's bark has actually broken.
Let's hear this dog's bark. So he saw a squirrel. Wait.
It sounds like a bird.
It sounds like a kettle or a broken flute. Wow.
What happens
Okay.
if the dog gets out of the car and actually sees the squirrel in the flesh?
It couldn't handle it. I think it would just be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Seriously, like, wow, that dog was excited.
Sorry.
Phil's a bit excited.
Internet News.
Finger tourism. A girl from Cambridge has started a new online craze. A keen snapper named Laura, who works as a freelance photographer during the day, took a picture by drawing two faces on her fingers and then placing them in front of a picture of Paris. Since then, her fingers have appeared in front of all sorts of famous landmarks, including the Leaning Tower of Pisa and Big Ben. It seems like they even managed to sneak into our studio earlier. Oh, look, it's a picture of them looking in front of our TV.
Nice.
That's funny. Finger tourism. Google it.
That's so good. Do you reckon they need their own passports?
Right, well, no, their fingers. I reckon they can just travel with whoever they're on.
Internet News. A comic book fan has created a real-life Spider-Man shooter that fires a fishing line rather than a web.
What?
The science fiction enthusiast used a modified coil gun placed inside the trademark red and blue glove, and the creator, Patrick from Germany, said that the real-life type of technology just wasn't enough on screen, so he made it into a web for himself.
So he's got a spring that shoots something and then brings it back into his hand.
Yeah.
That is incredible, but I'm afraid that, like, he's like, oh, look at this. This is like a Spider-Man mimicking invention. He's not onto the right wavelength here.
What's the
this
wavelength
could
he should
just
be
be a consumer product. Imagine if you could just reach for the remote by shooting the spring out of your hand.
That would be so good.
If he hasn't patented that, that is literally the best invention in the actual world ever. A laser-powered grappling hook.
Watch out, Andrew Garfield. Internet News.
The Internet News.
I'm fine, by the way. I don't know what happened with my cough.
You got too excited.
I
about
just
the
got
dog.
so excited about the dog. Also, I had a nightmare last night that Internet News went wrong. And it came true. It was a prophecy.
Wait, you had an actual nightmare
Yeah.
about the radio?
Yeah, I had a
and
nightmare.
this is the moment that's happening right now. What happened?
In the nightmare, all of the buttons came off the desk and I forgot how to speak. But in this situation, I was just choking to death.
Okay, Phil, you survived.
Okay.
No one died, and, you know, it wasn't really violent, and you're not naked. So,
No.
I mean, really, as far as nightmares go, this worked out well.
I'm going to go get a glass of water.
That sounds like a good idea. But now we have a special report, courtesy of Scott Mills and Chris Stark on Radio 1. They got Alexis, who is the actual girl from the selfie song, and they made a video which basically tries to ask the question, what would history have been like if we learned about it from the perspective of Alexis in a mirror taking a selfie? Get on the Radio 1 website if you aren't already to watch this absolutely amazing music video featuring Alexis in the actual Chainsmokers song. Here is Scott Mills and Chris Stark with their version of Selfie.
Let me take a selfie. That was Scott Mills and Chris Stark with the selfie girl doing history, which you can see on the Radio 1 YouTube channel. It's incredible. So we were talking about
Trying a new thing.
something new. Ellen in Kent said, I once tried karate, but then I gave up because I kept kneeing myself in the face. That sounds like something I would do.
Wow, that's what a mental picture. Like, just 3, 2, 1, go, bam!
Yep.
She kept kneeing herself in the face. Like,
did.
it just kept happening no matter how harsh I tried.
Repeatedly. I also found a video on my phone of Dan trying something new. Do you remember that video?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Oh, are we gonna...
We're going to be
okay.
playing that out after Avicii, which has been requested by Tana on Facebook, and this is her first time watching the show. Welcome. You'll never leave.
That was a bit sinister, Phil.
Always. Avicii, Hey Brother, from Tana on Facebook. Now Dan is about to try something fishy.
BBC
Radio 1.
Okay, so here's the thing. I hate fish. Not like, I don't have anything against them personally, I just don't like how they taste and smell. You know
You're
what I mean?
so fishes.
Stop. I like some fish, like tuna, bit of cod every now and then, cheap
Yeah.
bit of cod. But generally, the smell of really, really fishy fish is just one of those things that I don't like. You know what I mean? So we're at a friend's house, and for some reason, this horribly disgusting friend of mine really likes 1 pound jars of caviar that you can get from a supermarket.
From quite a budget supermarket.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, caviar is supposed to be this expensive thing, isn't it? And
Yep.
you can get a jar of it for £1. I don't like fish, but then because of peer pressure and a camera, Phil made me try it, and we managed to get the video.
For anyone listening that might not know what caviar is, as my friend didn't, it is tiny fish eggs.
Okay, so thank you very much, Phil. Here is the video from his phone of me trying caviar for the first time. If you want to get a glimpse of it, then get to bbc.co.uk/Radio 1.
So Dan has never tried caviar and he was really scared and we're making him try it.
I hate fish.
It doesn't taste like fish.
It's fish eggs.
Let's have a look at it.
It is literally everything that makes a fish in a little ball. You're telling me this isn't fishy?
No, it's not fishy.
How would you describe the taste?
Like popping candy that's made out of salt.
Fishy popping candy.
No,
Is
there's
that
no
what's supposed to
fish.
make me want
There's
it?
no fish. You're gonna love it, Dan. You're absolutely gonna love it. Get a big spoon.
No, I'm not going to get a big spoon.
Get like at least 20 eggs. Sniff it. What's it smell like? Salt?
Kind of like a pear. Like a pear. Cornwall.
It smells like a pear.
They're so tiny.
Right, come on. The battery's gonna die.
Gross.
No more than that. I want to see.
That's like 100 eggs. You said 20 eggs.
All right. A bit more.
Screw you.
Okay. All those little baby fish in your mouth. Go. Go. Eat it.
Oh, I was not into. Oh, all that fishy popping candy in my mouth. That
What do you
face.
think?
It just tastes like seawater. There we go.
It tastes like salt.
That's okay.
You were so
I mean,
scared.
if I was eating loads of bread, I'd probably be like, oh, this is really worth all the amount of money that I'm spending on it, but... Why is some of this worth like £10,000?
That's the
question. Caviar adventure. Hope you are satisfied.
Yeah.
Yay, I'll try it again in the future. There we go.
What?
Try new things. Hey, see? I said try new things when I did it.
And you actually did.
I wouldn't try it again, though. I mean, it was really quite disgusting.
That was budget caviar, though. I bet like £10,000 caviar tastes like dreams.
Then
Salty dreams.
It wouldn't at all still smell of a pear and be like a salty, fishy popping candy in my mouth. Although, you know, to be fair, it was £1 in a jar and I was eating it in a teaspoon in someone's kitchen. So maybe that wasn't like the caviar experience, but I was proud of myself for trying it. You know what I mean? Because that's what this is all about, I think.
Congratulations. So let us know if you can top that with hashtag tried something new or text us on 81199. And whilst you're doing that, we can listen to some Bastille, Pompeii from Eden. Bastille, Pompeii from Eden and a holiday in Egypt. I was wanting to go to Egypt to meet Lara Croft.
Well, they went to a water park, so I'm guessing they missed out on Lara Croft there.
Oh.
Thanks for sending in the video.
More trying something new now. We have one that says, I got a new dog today, and when I took it for a walk, it chased after a man on a bike for 20 minutes.
Tried something new, like walking the dog that you bought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucy said, I tried hoovering, but sucked all my hair up. I'm guessing she was using the Hoover extension there, and it got a bit ponytail disaster.
What? I'm trying to really imagine the various ways in which your head could connect to the other end of a Hoover. That's quite spectacular, however you managed to do that.
We have Leah on the phone. Hi, Leah.
Hello.
So you've tried something new recently. What is it?
Well, it was a couple, well, not couple, I'm 14 now, but
Okay.
years ago when I was 8, I attempted trampolining
All right.
and broke my arm after one class.
No. Was it on the first bounce?
No, it was like, I had the class and then went home and I was like, I'm a professional now, trying on my actual trampoline, fell and broke my arm. And then I was like,
no.
So my
Would you ever
trampolining dreams went down the drain.
would you ever go on a trampoline again after that experience?
No, I'm
No.
traumatized.
That really ruined trampolines for you forever? Wow. That's so sad.
It was awful.
Is your arm better now?
Yeah, I guess after quite a few years of healing, I've slightly recovered, but not fully.
See, when I was 12, I always really wanted to break my arm so people would write on my cast.
No,
That's weird.
Phil, it is so painful. You do not want to break your arm. It's horrible.
Okay, you've convinced me.
So the pain versus just the cool factor of you going, hey, cool dude, sign the cast. Yeah, Phil.
You'll make a mistake with the cast colour as well. I did
really?
The original.
Oh, the
Luminous
original.
yellow.
Luminous yellow
Nice.
all the way.
Goes with everything.
Okay, so your trampoline disaster has earned you a request. What would you like to listen to?
Thank you. Could I request Sweet Disposition by the Temper Trap, please?
Yes, you can. You're going to dedicate it to trampoliners?
And trampoliners worldwide, I guess.
Nice.
I mean, I can't be with them. Could I also request it for my friend Ella and my friend Mariki, please?
Yes, this goes out to all of them. Thanks
Thank
for sharing
you
your
so
story.
much.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
The Temper Trap, Sweet Disposition for Leah, who gave us all a trampoline phobia. Now it's time to talk about...
Dan versus Phil.
Okay, so the Dan versus Phil challenge is something that we do live on camera every Sunday at 8 o'clock, where we do some kind of horribly degrading challenge that makes us look very stupid to be immortalized forever in GIFs all over Tumblr. And this week, in celebration of Coldplay headlining Big Weekend, which is really big and outrageously exciting, isn't it, to be honest?
I kind of weed myself a little bit when I found out.
Did you actually, though? 'Cause that's one of those things everyone just says all the time. Just
Tiny.
That's really gross. So yeah, we are going to be playing a game of Pin the Hat on the Radio 1 Big Weekend headliner, which is why we have a giant printed out picture of Chris Martin's face, which really scared Jamila Jamil earlier. I mean,
did.
she already thinks that we're really weird, but when Phil was like, I've got a giant picture of Chris Martin's face,
Didn't help that I was caressing it in the night.
that probably didn't help, no. So we are going to take in turns to spin each other until we become horribly nauseous and then try to walk into a pillar attempting to stick a hat on it, basically.
If this was an Olympic sport, I would get a silver medal at least.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't get sick when you get spun around?
I've got good coordination, I think,
You think you have good coordination?
when blindfolded.
That remains to be seen. Okay, well, that will be happening live on camera right after this next song. Accompanied by footage of some very scenic beaches, thanks to Harvey, who obviously wants to make us all feel bad about the weather. Here is I Got You.
This is BBC Radio 1.
That was Duke Dumont, but now, in celebration of the fact that Coldplay have been officially revealed as one of the headlining acts of Radio 1's Big Weekend in Glasgow this year, we are going to be playing a game of Pin the Hat on Chris Martin's face. So what was this you were telling everybody about coordination, and you, Phil?
I've mastered the art of getting across my messy bedroom now in the pitch black night without stepping on an upturned plug.
That's like a life skill that most people should learn, isn't it?
Yes.
So you're pretty confident you're going to win?
So confident.
Okay, well, look forward to seeing Phil walking into a wall. If you want to see this happen live on camera, just go to bbc.co.uk/radio on now. But here for your ears is a bit of Avicii.
This is BBC Radio 1.
That was Beyonce and Jay-Z, and we just finished playing a game of Pin the Hat on Chris Martin on the Radio 1 website.
I feel so dizzy, I don't know where I am right now.
I feel like I'm on a moving boat, spinning.
Real life?
Is that how you feel on the inside
Yeah.
right now? So that coordination, Phil, how did that work out for you when you walked into the wall on the other side of the room?
Terrible. I should never be confident about anything. I should just accept that I'm below average at every sport.
Is that the message you want to send? Never feel confident about anything. Okay, we will formally announce the winner of that challenge after this. But now, I really want to apologise for this next song, okay? This is a very good example of what happens when we let people control the playlist of this show by sending us music videos.
You can all thank Zoe and Georgina for this being played on Radio 1. You're my heroes. Here's Mambo number 5.
Dan and Phil show on Radio 1. It's like eating a cake, but with your ears.
Mambo number 5 on Radio 1. There we go.
School disco flashbacks.
That literally it reminds me of Year 6, having a hot dog in one hand, 20p mix in the other hand, and all the boys and girls on separate sides of the room. Good times. That is the power that you guys have by sending us music videos. But now, it is time to reveal the winner of this week's Dan vs. Phil challenge. I feel like I need to just say quickly,
Yeah.
Phil was convinced I was cheating when we were in the middle of that. He spun me round, and when I started walking towards the picture of Chris Martin, he whispered in my ear, "Don't cheat, Dan." Phil, I wasn't cheating. I'm just great.
You're a bat.
I was using sonar, was I?
You are Bat Dan.
Okay, thankfully, there are independent adjudicators that are here to tell us what is fair.
Hello, Gemma.
Hi.
So before we get on to who is the winner, I'm just interested if you have a hashtag story for your first time doing something.
Yes, I do.
Go on then.
Well, me and a few friends of our youth group went to this hall to do bodysorbing, and it's basically these huge blow-up ball things that you have to squeeze your body into, and then you just bang into each other and roll down hills.
Wow.
And it's very fun.
We thought we were disorientated spinning each other around to pin the hat, okay?
How long did it take you to stop being dizzy after doing that?
It took a while. My head, I was almost sick. It was, and people were taking pictures as well, so it wasn't great.
If you were trapped inside a big see-through ball, you really would not want to be sick, would you?
They will be on Facebook forever.
Yes,
Okay.
it will be.
Back to business. Are you ready to announce the winner?
Yes.
Go for it.
Can I have a drum roll, please?
Yes, you can.
And the winner of Dan versus Phil is Dan.
Hey! Go me, go me. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so
Well
coordinated. I know how to not step on plugs. I'm so coordinated. I'm so coordinated. Yeah, Phil.
Wow.
That's fine.
Gemma,
Everything's cool.
that was such a good movie voice. I would hire you to
Thank
do
you.
all the trailers after the trailer man passes away.
Thank you.
So what song would you like to hear? You've earned it, definitely.
Can I have I Write Sins Not Tragedies by Panic at the Disco, please?
Can you please say that in your voice?
Can I please have Panic at the Disco? I write sins, not tragedies.
Here we go. Brilliant.
Bye.
Panic at the Disco, I Write Sins Not Tragedies before that. And also Mamba Number 5 has been getting a massive reaction across the world.
Has it?
Sarah from the Isle of Wight especially says, I'm drying myself after my bath, dancing around the bathroom to Mambo Number 5.
That sounds dangerous. Please don't slip having a conga or a mambo.
Maybe it was Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It probably wasn't Sarah Michelle Gellar listening to Mambo Number 5, but you can believe, Phil.
I believe.
Okay, now the time has come for this week's Happy Video. Oh, yeah. So it's not a tour of Eastern Europe, is it this time, Phil? What is it?
No, this time we have a South American football club, Colo Colo.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
Obviously.
big fan, personally.
Big
Yes.
Will we ever run out of happy videos?
I don't think so. No, I think they're immortal. As long as Pharrell looks 25, there will be countries eternally making videos to Happy, I think.
We'll get to bbc.co.uk/Radio 1 now if you want to watch this. Here is Pharrell. Pharrell, Happy Forever on BBC Radio 1.
This is BBC Radio 1.
So, Jen and Ali are two guys that have the show of BBC Introducing on Sunday nights, where you can find out all the hip new bands that will make you look totally enemy in front of your friends.
I love Jen and Ali. If I had favourites, which I'm not meant to have, they'd be in my favourites list.
Did that just say that you really like them or that you hate everyone else?
No,
I'm going to tell Grimmy that you hate him.
I don't hate Grimmy.
Okay. Well, last Sunday on Jen and Ali's show, for some reason, someone on Twitter sent them a picture showing that Jen looks pretty much exactly the same as me when I'm wearing a wig. Okay, for everyone looking on the internet right now, there's a video of me on the internet for some, don't worry why, where I'm wearing a wig with cat whiskers on my face, and then Jen with her normal hair with cat whiskers on her face. I think at BBC L1 are also going to tweet the picture if you want to go check out the radio on Twitter. That is disturbingly similar.
Definitely separated at birth.
Do you reckon that's what that was?
I'm really disturbed right now.
I know. It's kind of erotic. But which one? Who knows?
Who knows
Anyway,
which
irrelevantly, a cool thing about Jen is that she's also the voice of BBC Three, so yeah, the actual person that does the talking, like, here's a repeat of EastEnders.
Yeah, and I once dared her to try and get the word burger into the intro of Family Guy.
I thought there would be no way that would happen. You can't just dare someone whose job it is to actually present the stuff on TV to just troll things. But
I didn't think this was going to happen, but I told all my friends, all right, everyone go watch Family Guy. She might say the word burger. I'm psychic. And we've actually got a clip of what she said.
So did she manage to slip the word burger into the link introducing Family Guy? No, she went above and beyond.
2 trips to Quahog now, and if Peter and Lois are the bread, Chris is the meat, Brian's the cheese, Stewie's the relish, and Meg's the gherkin, they're like a lovely burger.
Boom.
It's a double bill of the delicious Family Guy.
Oh, I was so happy.
That was the best thing that has ever happened in my entire life, I think.
See, that's why Jen is the best person in the world.
Because she managed to work Family Guy into a burger metaphor somehow.
Yes.
Wow. That was absolutely incredible. So, yeah, if you want to actually listen to Jen and Ali's show, they'll be on at midnight tonight after Annie Mac. But, yeah, good times.
Now we're going to dive into the White Stripes, 7 Nation Army. Thank you, Anthony, on Facebook. We're all thanking. I've heard this in ages.
Let's just enjoy it, yeah?
Okay.
BBC Radio 1.
That was the White Stripes with Seven Nation Army, and I promise to stop introing songs.
You really improved the intro of that. Do you want to do your little...
My Sam Smith.
Oh, no, your bomb, bomb, bomb,
Oh.
bomb.
Bow, 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 bow.
After your Sam Smith impression last week.
Do we have that?
I've still got the clip here.
Money on my mind.
We can never let that die. It's
better than the actual song.
Never let that die.
Money on my mind.
That is truly beautiful, Phil.
So good.
You're going to take a break from introing songs.
I'm going to take a break. I think I've reached my pinnacle, so I don't want to do it too much.
Very good idea. But now we have an awesome video that is sent in by Lucy of her A2 Media project, telling the story of a couple in love. It apparently reminded someone on YouTube who commented of her ex and said that it ruined her day. It is literally that good. Here is Clean Bandit, Rather Be.
Rather Be with a video from Lucy T, who got attacked by geese at the end.
Seriously, terrifying animals.
Just reminding us all that we should never trust them. Remember, if you've ever made a video for any reason, maybe you just want Mambo number 5 on the radio and want to make a video to it, just upload it to your favourite video sharing website and email the link to Dan and Phil at bbc.co.uk.
This is BBC Radio 1.
Hello, Alid from the surgery.
Alid.
Moonwalking in.
I've cracked open my bacon air freshener and hung it from my mic. Do you like the smell?
Oh, that's horrible.
It's like a dog tree, isn't it? You
Why
have a
would you
dog.
want that?
Isn't that the kind of thing that you put in a dog's mouth?
I think so.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
It's made for cars, though. I thought I'd leave it in here for Grimmy for the
Lovely.
morning.
He'll appreciate that.
He won't, we should just hide it at the top of the microphone and he'll be like, why does it smell of bacon? That's definitely a good idea. Okay.
So you just got back from Croatia. How was that?
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was DJing for some sports students out in Croatia.
Oh, really?
And that is the kind of trip everyone needs in their life.
Oh, really? Any stories that are shareable with the radio?
Very few. Next week on The Surgery, we're doing a body image special, and it almost felt like I was doing research for that. Because there was more nudity on a particular boat trip when everyone was kind of having a party, and I just kind of thought, wow, this should be surgery material right here.
Wow.
Sign me up next time.
Like a really dangerous Stacey Dooley investigation. Nakedness in Europe. Wow, Alid.
I can tell you, I am now thinking about my body for summer. After I've seen that, I'm like, right, diet begins now. So, yeah.
So what is going down on The Surgery today, then?
Nothing quite as exciting tonight.
Okay.
It is an open surgery, which means that anything that's on your mind, and actually, I think sun time is going to feature in there, because the sun is kind of out now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you start to focus on your bodies and how you feel about the impending, is that the right word?
That's right.
Summer holidays that are coming up. And, you know, you've got to get yourself fit and ready, so anything like that, we're on the phone for tonight.
Can I phone you?
Yeah, all the above, or exams, or revision, or money, or your bodies, anything that's on your mind, give us a call. 03700 100 100. The phone lines are closed for Dan and Phil now, sorry guys. They're now open for The Surgery, or you can text us on 81199.
Brilliant.
Voila.
Thanks very much,
Thank you.
Alid.
Hello in, thank you rather, in
Croatian.
Yeah.
Wow, check you out. You're so international.
Voila.
Alid.
Voila.
What happened to him, man?
I want a naked boat party.
Okay. Into the next song.
We have a video from Ricky, which is slightly disturbing, doing something we all do when home alone, locking yourself in the garage and dancing with One Direction cardboard cutouts. Here's 5 Seconds of Summer.
Dan and Phil, they escaped from the internet and climbed into your ears.
5 Seconds of Summer, What I Like About You, with an utterly inspirational video there from Ricky. I imagine that's what Phil used to do with his life-size Buffy the Vampire Slayer cutout that he actually had.
That's exactly what I did. Actually, my mum and dad are moving house, so they want me to collect my Sarah Michelle Gellar life-size cardboard cutout and take it back on the train to London.
Wow.
That's going to be an interesting train ride.
Getting on the bus from some northern town to Manchester Station, then getting on a 2-hour train, and then getting on the tube with a cutout of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I might buy her own seat, and I'll just be like...
That's even more... Not that there's anything wrong with any of those things. But now it is time. You guys have sent us in some tales of confusion, because there is a very hard-to-understand world of technology out there, and, you know, people get very confused and traumatized by things they don't understand.
Yes.
And now we all get to mercilessly laugh at them after it's been read out by the erotic tones of Radio 1's Greg James. This is Sorry, I Don't Know How to Internet.
Internet? Isn't that a misplaced tennis serve in Yorkshire?
I don't get all this facial book.
The World Wide Web. Sorry, I don't know how to internet.
Our first story tonight comes from Alice.
I lent my granddad my laptop, and somehow in the one day he had it, he snapped the screen off. Needless to say, I've never let my granddad use any of my technology since.
What was he doing with that laptop?
Snapped the screen off. What could have possibly happened?
Maybe he was opening it backwards?
Yeah, and then he tried to close it the wrong way and just went snap, snap.
You would just never let him touch anything again.
That is incredibly traumatizing. I'm so sorry,
Imagine
Alice.
when you're older, he's like, "Can I hold your baby?"
No, Grandad! Yeah, good example. Okay.
Our next one comes from Lorna.
When my dad got Facebook, he sent me a friend request. And when I declined it and blocked him, he grounded me. In fact, I think I'm still grounded.
I like that I just like, and when I declined it and blocked him, like, obviously. If you ever let your dad onto Facebook.
Grounding. Harsh.
I feel like the internet is the one place you need to give your children power over their own lives. You know what I mean? You can't be doing that. So, my prayers are with you, Lorna.
Maybe it was a digital grounding and she can't go on the internet anymore.
That's so much worse than actual grounding these days, isn't it?
Terrible.
Just turning off the Wi-Fi. Our next one comes from Sam.
We got my nan an iPad and explained that it was basically just a huge iPhone. I later tried to FaceTime her, and all I could see was her ear.
Well, that's kind of her fault for giving bad instructions, I guess.
I hope they were FaceTiming on one of those 60-inch smart TVs where you can FaceTime, and then they just saw this gigantic ear in the
giant gateway to the ear dimension.
What is this, Grandma? What happened?
I'm sure that's exactly what they said. Okay.
Our next one comes from Grace.
I was sightseeing around London when a woman came over and asked my dad to take a photo of her and her friend. She gave him her touchscreen smartphone, and while they were sorting out the hair, my dad held down the button thinking it took a photo when you released it, and not when you touched it. He had taken 118 photos. Then he said, "Smile," and took 20 more.
What? Well, I mean, that's how most digital cameras work, isn't it, on the release? So that was your dad thinking he was a dad that knew how to use technology and it went horribly wrong, though, I mean, that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's what you want secretly when you ask someone to take a photo, isn't it? Because when you always say, like, hey, can you take a photo of me, the whole time you're thinking, I'm blinking, my hair looks stupid, I'm doing something weird with my face, and you wish that you could have one of those, like, shameless photo shoots with your friends. So actually, I think your dad did the best thing ever.
He did. And I've got a very special one, actually, from you, Dan.
My grandma, or Gran is not on fire, has finally learned how to use the iPad she got for Christmas, and she keeps trying to FaceTime me at 6 a.m.
Yeah, basically.
Explain.
Well, my grandma got an iPad for Christmas. She didn't really know how to use it, and she's worked out how to very easily, with one touch, FaceTime me whenever she feels like it, just by pressing the thing. And she keeps calling me at 6 a.m. and it's a video call, and it's not what I want.
That's so early. Do you answer?
Well, I come sometimes. I'm like, why is my grandma awake at that time? I think, old people, they kind of just rise with the sunrise and set with the sunset, you know?
That's
It's
true.
very kind of like biological and in tune with nature.
You don't know, Dan. Your grandma might be a party animal who's been up till 6 a.m.
Hey, Dan! Party's what? What are you up to, dude? And I'm like, oh, grandma's like 3 a.m. Please stop. So, I had to block my grandma's Apple ID. Yeah.
Dan!
I haven't barred her calls, but just for the FaceTiming, I can't be having that at 6 a.m.
I am shocked and appalled.
I'm really sorry, Grandma. But yes, that was, sorry, I don't know how to internet. So I said you weren't going to keep adding to things, but you can do it, so I don't know how to.
I can add on to that. That was so many revelations in that one.
It was life-changing. If you have any stories of technological problems that you want to send into next week's show, all you have to do is send them to danandphil@bbc.co.uk. And if you have any photographic or video evidence of these things happening, then that would be absolutely perfect.
Got our snowiest video in a while now from Helen. Sent to 30 Seconds to Mars, Do or Die. I'm imagining Jared Leto in the frozen snow.
Or in Frozen.
Or in Frozen. Do you want to build a snowman?
No!
Dan and Phil on BBC Radio 1.
People on Twitter are loving Gran is not on fire.
Are they?
Yeah. A lot. Now we have Molly, who called in and wants Sophie Ellis-Bextor with Murder on the Dance Floor.
I think she's probably the poshest sounding pop star in the entire world.
Definitely up there.
Like, it's just the way that she, usually people go for the American dance. Like, Fall Out Boy, when they're like, dance, dance. Imagine if they went, dance, dance. It really, it sucks all of a sudden, doesn't it? It just sounds so lame. Yet, Sophie Ellis-Bextor does not want to succumb to that peer pressure. Just appreciate the murder on the dance floor. But you better not kill the groove.
Let's appreciate that now.
To be honest, greatest song of all time level, we're talking there. Murder on the Dance Floor, Sophie Ellis Bextor, definitely. But now it's time for a corporate message.
BBC Radio 1.
So, on Wednesday, Coldplay, who we've mentioned several times, have been announced as the headliners of this year's Radio 1's Big Weekend, performed a special pop-up live lounge for Fern, revealing that they will be performing on Saturday the 24th of May.
And on Friday, Annie Mac revealed that Martin Garrix and Tiesto will be joining the Friday night bill at George Square in Glasgow.
Which will be extremely ravey, but the lineup does not stop there.
What?
It is not literally it with those three people. Tomorrow morning, Grimmy will be announcing who will be joining Coldplay, the 1975, Paolo Nutini, Pharrell, and Rita Ora, so make sure you're listening if you're interested.
And if you haven't got tickets, Nick will also be letting you know how you could still be joining the event. How mysterious.
So if you want to find out who is still left to perform, and I've been given a spoiler, it's extremely big and extremely exciting for some people.
Dun, dun,
I mean,
dun.
it's kind of as exciting as it gets for some people, wouldn't you say so, Phil?
Yeah.
Mysterious hype. So yeah, make sure you're listening to Grimmy's show tomorrow morning from 6:30 a.m.
Are you going to be awake?
No, I not like a personal decision. I'm just not awake at that time, to be honest. Speaking of which, like, I always get calls at like 6:30 from unknown numbers, and I'm convinced it is Grimmy trying to do a call or delete. Like, seriously,
really?
if I get a call and it's really like at any time in the morning and it's unknown, I'm like, PPI scam, confused relative. Or is it Grimmy, who's just going to record this and then put it on the radio for everyone? So I'm just like, no, it's either going to be Grimmy or my grandma. And to be honest, at 6:30, I don't want to speak to either of those people. So, nothing worse, but I love Grimmy and my grandma. So, yeah.
Though we are leaving the bacon air freshener in Grimmy's studio, so I don't know how much we love him.
We've hung it from the ceiling. So if any of you are listening to The Breakfast Show tomorrow and he complains about how much the studio stinks, that's because we've left this bacon-scented air freshener on the ceiling for him.
No, 6:30 a.m. though, the smell of bacon, it's like, breakfast time.
Morning. Yeah, maybe that is exactly what he needs, absolutely.
I think it is. Now, another amazing request from Francesca on Facebook. It's Run DMC with Walk This Way.
Run DMC, Walk This Way, requested by Francesca on Facebook. Thank you very much.
Dan and Phil on BBC Radio 1.
So, in the vein of trying new things, you know, I did the caviar, didn't quite work out. You did the yoga, didn't quite work out. But I think it's a good lesson that, you know, even if we try and fail, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Have we got some final messages from anyone else that's sending things in?
Leather Lester said, I'm scared of hamsters, so I thought I'd pick up my sisters and overcome my fear, but it pooed all over me.
That's what you get, okay.
Yeah. I remember when I was training my hamsters, I'd wear oven gloves in the bath and just let them run all over me to get used to my scent.
You and your weird hamster knowledge. That's just so weird.
Because if they get used to your scent when they're young, they just think of you as like a friend that gives them food, especially if you're wearing oven gloves.
Well, I think that Phil's hamster tips needs to turn into a feature, to be honest.
I could write a book on it. I know everything.
You need to understand this.
I know their gestation period.
Okay, what else have people been saying they tried?
Emma said, I tried riding a mountain bike and I broke 5 bones.
Okay. Maybe she just tried to ride it down a mountain.
Maybe.
Confused advertising.
Yassi said, my teacher made me try an olive and I threw up in the class bin. This is the thing about olives. I hear you've got to try them 7 times.
That's total rubbish. What is that based on?
Just that you've got to get used to the taste. And then
right, okay.
7th
People's taste buds change over time. Right, I didn't used to like mushrooms.
Yeah.
Then suddenly one day I was like, man, I just want them in my face. But I don't think it's a 7 times thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I've had, I think, about 8.
And has it worked?
I still don't like them that much.
Well,
but
exactly. It's not a real science, is it?
Yeah, true.
That's exactly what you should be learning. So yeah, try new things. It's a good moral.
Yeah.
But speaking of strange smells, you were complaining about the rotting flowers in our dining room that we need to throw out.
Yes, I was.
That was an extremely lonely story of me, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay, just let me know how lonely this sounds, right?
So
I was
lonely.
walking back from getting lunch by myself, just because I felt like leaving the house to get some tasty food. I walked past a flower shop, okay, and I was like, wow, that smells really good. It just smells really nice. So I walked around and I saw this like vase of white roses, and I was like, hey, flower lady, how much are these roses? And she was like, they're £10. And I was like, cool, I think I'll get them. And then when she was wrapping them up, she was like, who are they for? And I said, oh, just myself. I think I'm going to put them by my computer because they smell nice.
So sad.
And I was just thinking, I mean, to me, it was this really happy, spontaneous moment where I was like, I'm gonna be crazy, I'm gonna buy some flowers, and then my apartment's gonna smell really good. But she just gave me this look like, what has happened?
You're so alone.
It was absolutely mortifying and terrible. And so I just want to say to the flower lady, I'm okay, and they smell really good.
She's definitely listening right now.
She definitely was. So, yeah, anyway, I think it's time we thank everybody that got involved in our show. Do you think so too, Phil?
Let's do this.
I think it's time for the end credits. Thank you to Kat,
Holly,
and Benla and her mates,
and Cara,
and Jonna,
and Scott Mills and Christoph,
and Eden,
and Harvey,
and Zoe and Georgina,
and Katerina,
and Lucy T,
Ricky,
and Helen,
Nina,
and Tana,
and Leah,
and Gemma,
and Anthony,
and Francesca,
and Gran is not on fire,
which is apparently trending. You people are crazy.
What?
And Alice,
Lorna,
and Sam,
Grace,
and tons of people,
and Molly,
and Becky. There we go. Ad with the surgery is coming up next, but now requested by Becky on Twitter. Here is Stacey's mum with Fountains of Wayne. All the other way around.
Fountains of Wayne.
Classic tune.